Hello, this is our prototype demo for Group 15, and our project is called Cloud MX Operations Center for ED2.
Objective: Dobbins Air Reserve Base has an outdated way of providing aircraft information to maintenance workers. Our project sponsor is Brandon Rotz, a major in the U.S. Air Force. Major Rotz and his team currently use spreadsheets to write down information pertaining to the aircrafts located on his squadron hangar and the adjacent runway. The problem is that this is a very inefficient and wasteful system. Most of the members are always not near a computer, and the spreadsheets need to be printed out and handed to the major and other members several times a day.
Our solution is to create a smartphone application that is written within the React Native framework that will give us relevant real-time information as to about which aircrafts are in the hangar or runway to any airman who is in the base. And it will, since it is written in React Native, it will be available through both smartphones on iOS and Android, and it will also be available on tablets. The application will include the following data, such as maintenance issues, the lead maintainer for each aircraft, the location of that specific aircraft, the flight schedule, and any relevant and pertinent comments about the aircraft from fellow airmen. For this project, for the roles, for the front end, will be worked on by Arful Islam and Mohammed Chaudhry. Arful Islam will be responsible for creating the login screen, the aircraft information screen, as well as the maintenance history screen. And Mohammed Chaudhry will be responsible for creating the map display screen, the hangar information screen, and the admin mode creation, because there is a separate mode for both the admin and the rest of the people that are on the base. And also, Arful Ilzam will make sure that the application works on Android devices, phones, and tablets, and Mohammed will make sure that it works on both iOS devices, smartphones, as well as tablets.
For the backend, Charlie Leandri is going to be responsible for creating the database, managing the database during development. Andy Wen is going to be connecting the screen used by the normal users, and I, Nathan DaCosta, I'm going to be responsible for connecting the screens used by the admins. The normal users are the ones who are able to view, and the admins are the ones who are able to view and update the tables as required. The tasks that we've accomplished so far include the following: a UI that's easy to work with, a fully functioning login system. We have actually implemented the databases on AWS. They've been credited and filled with data. There's separate admin and viewer modes in the app. Data from the databases can also be displayed on the app in real time as they're updated. And any piece of data can be updated from the app as long as the current user isn't an admin. There are many screens that include different data, and for example, there would be an aircraft screen to display information related to an aircraft, and there's a map screen that displays all the information related to the buildings and the base respectively.
The remaining challenges in this project is working on the encryption and working on a forget password system. So the encryption is essentially we're trying to encrypt all the data that is sent from the app to the database, and since this is in the matters of the Air Force, they want for this data to be not be able to be hacked into. Since this is technically not classified, but it's very highly sensitive, meaning that from the data that is sent towards the app to the database, there should be no feasible way for anybody to hack into this database because it has many sensitive information, which is where the aircrafts are located and also how many aircrafts are in per base. And also, we will also work on a forget password system, and we will likely make it in a way so that we have a new screen, and then it will send a link towards the email address of the person once they type in their email address. And we will either do that, or we will have to send an email straight to the main administrator, and they'll have to go towards the airman and give them the email and also the username and password.
Some of the changes we made to the while we were making the project was we added a few more screens than we originally proposed. We added the maintenance screen because the sponsor wanted to see the maintenance history for each of his aircrafts. we added the add user screen and add admin screen because originally we wanted to add users directly into the database. However, the admin wanted it to be done through the app, so we accommodated his needs. Um, we didn't consider a password recovery before. Again, we wanted to use we wanted to directly we wanted the users to directly input like new passwords, but the sponsor wanted to do that through the app, so we did it through here. And instead of an accurate depiction of the base, we opted to go for a list-like design. This is a lot more universal, so if we want to make this app for other bases or any other applications, it would be more feasible to do a list-like design instead of the accurate Google Map-like depiction the sponsor originally wanted. Uh, Alright, here's a block diagram representing our subsystems. The backend section deals with how information displayed by the system is edited and how users are added to the system. The arrow from the database box pointing to the admin box shows that the admin or admins will already be part of the Cloud MX Operations Center. The arrow pointing from the admin to the admin's device shows how admins view the mobile UI from their device. The arrow pointing from the admin's device to the mobile UI shows that admins can edit information within the mobile UI. The arrow pointing from the mobile UI back to the database shows that changes made by the admin within the mobile UI is sent to the database to update it. The arrow from the database to users represent how each user of the system is manually added into the system by the admin. Traditionally, a sign-up screen would be provided, but since the information presented by this Cloud MX Operations Center is considered extra sensitive, extra care must be taken to ensure security. The front-end section deals with how information is displayed to the user. If a user has been added to the system by the admin, they can use the device to see the mobile UI. The arrow from the user to the user's device represents the transaction between backend to frontend and how users that are part of the system may see information stored within the database. This is what the arrow pointing from the database to mobile UI means. Information from the database is sent to be displayed in the mobile UI. The aircraft info, building info, and worker info boxes represents the types of information that the mobile UI will present. The arrow from the mobile UI pointing to the user's device represents the mobile UI being displayed on the user's device. The arrow also indicates that this is a one-way interaction. The user will not be able to change any information within the mobile UI. The mobile UI is purely for viewing purposes in terms of the user end.
Since this project is software-based, a pin connection diagram cannot be applied. Instead, we use subsystems to visualize the project. In this case, the front end and the back end of the application.
This is the Entity Relational Diagram, or ERD, that describes the functionality of the database. We have 6 tables: admin table, user table, aircraft, building, maintenance team, maintainers, and maintenance history. The admin table will be able to add users. They'll also be able to update the aircrafts, and a maintenance team will be assigned to a certain aircraft. That maintenance team will have a certain list of maintainers. The maintenance history can be accessed from that aircraft, as well as the building or the location that the aircraft is in.
I will be talking about our use case diagrams. The figure on the left shows the use case in this perspective of the admin. The admin can log into the mobile UI, which is sent to the database to verify. If verified, the admin can edit information, add/remove users and or admin, All changes are sent to the database to reflect the changes, and the users and/or admin previously not added before are now part of the system, or if existing, are removed if deemed so. This case shows the flow of the backend state diagram. The figure on the right shows a use case in the perspective of the user, anyone who isn't an admin. The user can log into the mobile UI and, if verified, may view information that is stored within the database, such as aircraft information, hangar information, etc. This case shows the flow of the front-end state diagram.
As you can see here, we have a Gantt chart of everything that we have done so far. We spent the first couple of weeks working on the app foundations, such as creating the UI design and creating accounts on AWS, which is where our backend is. Then we went towards making up our databases and making connections between the databases, and then creating a different screens, such as the aircraft screen, hangar screen, and all the login functionalities. And during the from weeks 7 through 13, we spent more time creating the admin and the viewer modes, which is important because that's what our sponsors wanted. And then we also made adjustments to the UI, like color changes. And we also made an API that sends data to and from the database towards the app. So, for example, it will display app from the database towards the on the app. And you can also make it so the admin and only the admin can update data from the app. And also, in the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks, we'll be making a system that allows the admins to add new users into the system and also focus more on the encryption from the app, from the data sent from the app to AWS. And we'll also make final changes as we get feedback from the sponsor.
So our demonstration of the prototype will show that the whole app is pretty much functional and working. It's going to show that the user mode and admin modes also work and demonstrate them, the database and how it works and a few queries, and API support for the app.